Council on this September the 7th, 2021, and welcome all the council who are all present and all of our administrative staff and directors, and also for a lot of our public safety employees have joined us here this night. Welcome, and those the public who have joined us, and also those people who have joined us virtually. We welcome you to our meeting this evening. We'll start our session off by a pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Anderson, after which we'll have the opening remarks by Councilmember Lamone.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for the opportunity we have to come here tonight to, as a council, mayor, and staff, to be able to make decisions that are in the best interests of our citizens at this time and on behalf of our community. We thank Thee for the opportunity to serve and that we have to be leaders in the community. We hope that we can be good examples during our time in office. We thank Thee for the knowledge that we've been given as for our staff and directors and employees in the city here to be able to help our residents. Please bless that this week, especially as we remember 9/11, that we can honor and remember those first responders and those who died that day, that we can remember them this week, and that we can have a prayer in our hearts for them during this time, and that we can properly recognize them on 9/11. We thank Thee for all the many things that we've been given, and ask that we can continue to have Thee in our minds and our hearts as we make decisions tonight. And we love Thee and we say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sid, Diana. Now ask for approval of tonight's meeting agenda. I don't think we have any changes. Is that correct, Scott?
No changes.
No changes, so if I could have a motion, I'd appreciate it.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Bullock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now move on to our open session. Invite anybody from our general public or to come forward and address the council at this time. I see no one rushing the podium, so we will now close our open session and move on to our item number 6, our consent items this evening, which consist of our city council minutes of the August 17, 2021 meeting, and to consider for approving payment request number 2 for Instaform Technologies for the fiscal year 2019-20 sewer rehabilitation project, and to consider for approving change order number 1, partial payment number 1 to Allied Underground Technologies for the 100 West Sewer Improvement Projects. I'd ask, if no questions, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, make a motion to approve our consent items for this evening.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Anderson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We don't have any board, commissioner, committee appointments this evening, and we'll now move on to what we came here for this evening. And one of the main things is our presentation for our first responders recognition in honor of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And with that, I would like to, at this time, read, it's almost a proclamation here, or what we feel. On September 11th, 2021, many of us remember watching on TV events unfold in the unprecedented attacks on the United States. In a short couple of hours, 2 airplanes had flown into the World Trade Center building, 1 airplane into the Pentagon, and 1 airplane flown into the ground because of the brave passengers who kept the plane from flying into another structure. As we watched on TV, we didn't see the numerous police officers, firefighters running into those buildings, trying to help all involved. As we watched the South Tower collapse, we started to realize that many lives were to be lost that day. Many of those lives were first responders who had put their lives of others over their own life because they were truly, can call them heroes. Back in here in Pleasant Grove, we may not have high-rise buildings and that would attract terrorist attacks, but we still have people that need to be rescued. Whether it's a spouse that's been abused in a domestic violence situation or a burning building, which kids need to be extracted, regardless of the call, our people respond. They respond with one thing on their mind, and that is the safety of others. I hope this isn't something we take for granted. Each day we wake up, we feel safe. That feeling is provided by our public safety. Each day we wake up, we know there is somebody we can call if something is wrong. BG Public Safety will respond. They will respond with care, professionalism, and compassion. These are not jobs to our public safety personnel. It's more like a calling. They are asked to do things that most humans don't really want to do. They are asked to put themselves in danger's way in order to provide a blanket of safety and security to the residents of Pleasant Grove. Let's remember that they run towards danger while we run away. Please join me in thanking them for putting us first. We'd like to invite you all that have come, of our public safety, and come up front. We'd like to get a picture with you as you've come.
You mean tall and back? When did Ben's hair get curly?
Right here, I'm getting about this level. Okay.
Oh, another level. Actually, we could do some wall squats. Let's get.
Switch with the firefighter behind you.
Yeah, Sarah, yeah, have Sarah. Sarah's
Sarah, get him down.
She's in front.
There we go.
I love that we don't intermix colors here.
Jake, you're the only one moving down.
Absolutely.
I mean, now you're blocking people out, but
Put
I
down in
can't see
front.
Chris in the back either. That's what I'm see me. Okay. One.
Oh, wait, whoa. He's wearing the flag.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
With all my heart.
Hey, chiefs, don't go very far. We want to have a little, yeah, the chiefs, yeah. I'd like to give our two chiefs a minute to make any comments you'd like to. But, and the rest of you don't leave yet because the council's not through with you yet.
Thank you.
Go ahead, chief. You have any comments you'd like to make on?
I can't I think it's on. Oh, there it is. No, yeah, thanks for just doing that. That's a good for appreciation for remembering that. And you know, it's kind of weird because a lot of the newer guys we have don't remember. They're really young when it happened. So it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm old. It's like one of the old guys or something.
Chief?
Yeah, just want to reiterate their appreciation. It's not often that we get appreciated. We kind of do a thankless job, and we kind of like, police and firefighters are kind of strange. Firefighters aren't. They like the limelight. Police are weird. They kind of just go about their business and do their job, and they don't like to be recognized. We just kind of do the job and do it because that's the right thing to do. And so thank you for the recognition, and we do it because we love the job, and we love to serve people and do the right thing because it's what we do. So thank you. We got a great group of people, a great group of guys and gals, and they do us a great job. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Council? Maybe.
So, September 11th, is pretty impactful in my life. 20 years ago, I was in Manhattan, having just climbed the top of the World Trade Center a few days before, and I saw the buildings. To this day, I can still smell the smoke. And I looked into the faces of the firefighters and police officers that had lost hundreds of their friends. I think in a lot of ways I have PTSD from 9/11 because I was there. I saw it. And it's interesting that 20 years later, it was interesting as we were taking that picture, I thought to myself, here we are 20 years later, here with my heroes, the first responders that, I heard the sirens. They were going to Lower Manhattan, and I was going north. I was going uptown, and they were going downtown. So every time I hear a siren, I often think about 9/11, and you guys are the heroes. You guys do run into the burning buildings as we're running out, and that includes the fire department or the police department. So it's important that we recognize and remember this day, September 11th, not only for those that lived and saw it and were impacted by it, but that we remember it for our youth, and that our youth remember that we are hated because of our liberties and because of the country that we live in, that gives us so many individual liberties and freedoms. And then we all need to come together. It was amazing those last couple of days, those next couple of days, September 12th, 13th. Boy, do I have some stories about those days that someday I'll have to tell you. But we all came together as a nation, and differences were dropped. Love was felt, and hopefully someday we can get back to those times.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, thank you, and some of you who weren't on shift, thank you for coming in this evening to be here. And I will mention, and most of you may know, but Sunday night, and it was just by chance, I ran across to, in fact, I was just going through some channels and went across to CNN has a 2-hour documentary on 9/11, and it's about a filming crew that they were following a probie in the station house that was the closest one to the trade centers. And if you get a chance, you need to take the opportunity because that really shows really the inside story of what went on that day. It was really great, so anyway, thank you, and we appreciate you, and we feel safe with all of you. We really do. It just makes me, as a resident of Pleasant Grove, I just, we couldn't live in a better community. And, but, so, thank you, and you make it safe because of you. All right, well, we'll move on. We'll go. Now move to item number 9, our public hearing items, which we have one this evening. It's a public hearing to consider for adoption ordinance 2021-29 to apply the PO professional office zone to approximately 1 acre of property currently zoned R18, single-family residential, located approximately 1027 north, 2000 west, the Mudhole neighborhood. Director Cardenas.
Okay. But I can start. While the image comes, I can start.
I think we know where you're at.
Yeah?
Danny.
Okay.
Explain where we're at.
So I was seated in the back, and I was surrounded by exceptional people right there, and I thought that was the worst moment for me to announce that I haven't renewed my car registration. No, I have. It was just a joke. I have. We want to do this through the package? Yeah, let's do it through the package.
We can do it out of the packet.
Let's go through the
I think
package. So,
everybody's got it.
Mayor, Council, what we have in front of us right now is a rezone. It's a proposal for a rezone of about 1.5 acres, a piece of land that is in 1027 North along North County Boulevard. If you guys have driven around the area, it's almost on the corner of 1100 North and North County Boulevard. There's a brand new building right there. There's a dentist's office. So now we're talking about the property that is south of it, okay? So what the proposal is, right now the property is single-family dwelling R18. Most of that area used to be R18, but that land has been eventually being rezoned to accommodate for commercial uses. It means it's along the boulevard. So what the applicant is proposing is to rezone again from single-family R18 to a PO or professional office. Our general plan considers all that quadrant a professional or mixed-use uses. So the general plan backs up this proposal as well. The applicant at this moment is running 3 applications. He has a plat that we're working on it right now, and he has a site plan for a medical building, if I can say it like that. Eventually, it's going to be another medical offices in that area. So that's what the proposal is for. As how it is right now, single family does not allow for that use. So the applicant is proposing to rezone it. The plat and the site plan doesn't have to go through city council because those are administrative decisions. But the rezone is a legislative decision, therefore it's in front of you guys. This item was presented to the Planning Commission, who gracefully looked at this, and they forward a unanimous recommendation of approval for the rezone of 1.5 acres from single-family residential to professional office. That's what I have, Mayor.
Okay, any other questions for Daniel? Everybody that wasn't able to pull it up, you know where that's located?
In the package, I added a couple of images for the plat and the building and how it's gonna look like, but again, this is just for the rezone.
Okay, if not, thank you, Daniel, and we'll now open our, if there's no other questions from the council, we'll now open our public hearing and invite anybody to come forward and address the council. We have no one coming forward, so we'll now close our public hearing and bring it back up to council for further discussion or a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for adoption of ordinance 2021-29 to apply the PO professional office zone to approximately 1 acre on property currently zoned R18 single-family residential located approximately 1027 north, 2000 west.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilmember Anderson. And this will be a roll call vote, and we'll start out with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. We'll now move, and that finishes our public hearing items for this evening. We'll move right into our action items ready for vote this evening. Item number 10, and the first one is 10A. Consider for approval a 7-lot final subdivision plat called Merrill Liston Estates Plat A on property located at approximately 900 west and 1100 north in the R1-7 single-family residential zone, Mudhole neighborhood. Clay M. Liston, applicant. Director Cadenas.
Mayor, Council, the item that you just mentioned is a plat for a 7-lot subdivision. If we take a look in the package of the actual plat, it's actually 6 lots that are about 12,000 square feet, and one that is a little bigger than 2.5 acres. So what's going on is that the applicant at this point decided to only develop the half south of the property, and eventually will develop the north side of the property. The north side of the property right now has a dwelling right now. This zone is an R17, meaning that each lot has to be at least 7,000 square feet. The reason why it was rezoned like that was to allow for the width of the lots to be a little narrower. But the square footage of every lot, I mean, they range from 14,000 square feet lots to 11,000 square feet lots. They're way above the square footage required per lot in the zone. One of the conditions that I would like to be said during the approval process or denial process would be that it should be conditional upon the signing of a reimbursement agreement with the city for offsite storm drain infrastructure. That, I just sounded like Marty right there, but this is a Marty item. So it should be, again, conditional upon the signing of a reimbursement agreement with the city for offsite storm drain infrastructure. Okay? So that's one thing that the applicant is still working with the engineer department, but for the rest of the requirements, this subdivision meets all the requirements of the zone and goes above and beyond their requirements. So that's what I have, Mayor and Council. I'm imagining the applicant in the future is gonna develop the property in the north, but at this point, all we have is just those 6 lots.
Yes, Council.
I was just going to advise the council on the condition about the reimbursement agreement. I was just going to give you some background info. So the storm drain in that area has some lack, and we're trying to complete the system and get it to function better. And so Mr. Liston has agreed to perform some off-site storm drain improvements that he would normally not be required as part of his 7-lot development. And the city will be reimbursing him for the costs of anything over and above what he would normally be required to do. And we've agreed on the amount, and we've agreed on, what those improvements are gonna look like. We just haven't got the agreement signed yet, so that will come before you at a later date.
Okay, thank you. I know we've been working on that for a while.
Yes, yes.
Couple
This
of
item
years.
went to, sorry, Mayor. This item went to Planning Commission actually twice, and both times received a unanimous recommendation of approval.
Okay, any other questions for Daniel?
I just have a question. I mean, these are big lots. Why did the applicant choose an R17 zone for this area?
Oh, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was presented to you guys because they're narrow lots.
Oh, the frontage for the,
Yeah,
for the.
the width of the lot,
They're
they're,
deep. I mean,
from
well,
side
they're
to side,
third
yeah.
of an acre. They're third of an acre.
Yes, the square footage is big, but actually in that zone, the requirement for any zone like R110, R111, R112 will be 100 feet. And you take a look at them, some of them are about 83 and 82, yeah. That's why he requested to rezone, but when he presented to you guys, to the council around that time, that was his argument. His lots were gonna be large lots, but they were gonna be narrow lots.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay. With that, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the 7-lot final subdivision plat called Merrill Liston Estates Plat A on property located approximately 900 west, 1100 north in the R17 zone.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams.
We have to add the condition.
With the
that-
condition stated by
Staff.
staff, council.
That work?
Upsize drain.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Councilmember Jensen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now move to 10B. Consider for adoption resolutions 2021-043, canceling the November 2nd, 2021 municipal general election and declaring each unopposed candidate elected to the office and providing for an effective date. Council.
Mayor and council, this particular resolution is in conformance with the state code regarding elections. In the event that a municipality does not have any more people running than seats that are open, in other words, all the incumbents are running unopposed, it gives us the opportunity to cancel the election and declare those unopposed candidates as being elected, which that is the language of the resolution. Do you have any questions?
No, we don't. Thank you. With that, I ask for a motion.
I think it should come from Diane or Todd, I don't know.
Mayor,
I think it shouldn't be too.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2021-043, canceling the November 2nd, 2021 municipal general election and declaring each unopposed candidate elected to office, providing an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Jensen. This will be a roll call vote, and we'll start out with Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you, and we will, I guess it's in order to have a election party, and we've had it, and now it's over with. So
There you go.
so
I would like to congratulate Councilmember
thank you.
Williams.
Thank you. And the mayor,
Hey.
and Diana,
And the mayor.
and the mayor.
So, hey,
It'll be a good another 4 years, or at least another 2 years.
anyway, we'll
Status
move
quo
to.
will remain for
That-
2 more years.
2 more years.
The status quo.
We'll move to 10C. Consider for adoption resolution 2021-044, authorizing the mayor to sign a grant agreement with Utah County regarding the Communities and Care Coalition, providing funding for the programs to reduce substance abuse in the community and provide for an effective date. General Counsel.
Mayor and council, this resolution is in response to the Communities That Care grant that is issued by the county. The amount is $100,000 for the grant year. And if you'll recall, last year we received this amount of money, and Tamara Oborn is the person that we hired to administer this grant money and to supervise the programs that it was to fund. Some of the programs that they did was an anti-vaping campaign, installing vape sensors in the restrooms at the high school, which is still an ongoing project. Public relations campaign or public information campaign regarding the negative effects of using these types of substances, and a parenting class. And the programs that were initiated last year were so successful that this year's grant will be used to complete some of those items, but also to expand them. The parenting class received great reviews and a lot of participation, and so they're expanding that. They're also expanding their public education program with regard to anti-vaping and anti-substance abuse. And Tamara's here if you want to ask her any questions. She also has a presentation she'd like to give, but she's going to do that on another night, and just talking about the program and what they've accomplished and what the money is going to go for. The county does require the council to approve the grant agreement in order to fund them and send the money to our way. So that's what you're doing tonight. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, questions for Mrs. Olborn, yeah.
Yes, sir.
What would you consider your greatest success this last year?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, think of it, yeah.
Cold question.
It is.
You're gonna make me choose?
Yeah.
Okay, I personally think I'm doing two, sorry.
Okay.
The one was with our vape prevention education campaign. We had a lot of really great feedback of families that had really good conversations with their kids previous to the campaign, and the signage that was put around the city had no idea that it was even an issue. None. Like, parents didn't really even think kids were vaping. And then once they saw the signs and looked at some of the educational materials that were out there and the websites that we provided, had some really great conversations with their kids. And then the second one, I think, was our parenting workshop. We were the only coalition that received the grant that was actually able to implement any program last year. And we were able to pilot a couple different ones. So our parenting workshop just helped families communicate better, have better conflict resolution, learn about the importance of bonding. And the families that participated just loved it. And I say that because I can teach the course, but every time I take it, I learn something new, and it's helped my family. And really what we're trying to do is help improve family education and help improve what's going on inside the home, because that's what makes the most difference. So those are our two things. I was really proud that none of the other coalitions were able to actually get a program going, and we did it. We tried it, we had some kinks, but we just did it. And we've gotten really great feedback.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, it's because of you.
No, thanks for that, though. But for the record, no. I work with a team of wonderful volunteers.
But you're yeah.
So the last question, how many volunteers do you have? How many people on the board?
On our board, probably active, really active, we have about 15. But 5 of them are educators, so they volunteer hours of their time teaching these classes to the community, whether it's our parenting workshop or our child sex abuse prevention class. You know, we have a couple different partnerships we work with, and these trained facilitators do it all, and they're awesome. We're really lucky, and we're really grateful for your support, because some cities don't even know what's going on with this kind of stuff.
When is your next event?
Our next parenting class starts on Monday, so we have another 5-week session starting on Monday at the rec center. Tyler's so great to accommodate us over there. So the max amount of families we can have at a time is 8. We just have space limits and then childcare limits. So we offer childcare for kids 8 and under at the rec center daycare, but they can only accommodate so many. So we've had anywhere between 4 and 8 families at the 2 workshops we've already done.
When you say families, the parents just come together?
Parents come, but one of the weeks the kids come with them. So we do a whole class with the parents and the kids talking about peer pressure and refusal skills and, you know, how to, just some of those really important skills that, I don't know, parenting doesn't come with a manual. I wish it did. So that's our next one. And then we'll be at Heritage Festival. We're helping with that at the welcome booth. And we just like to have a presence and let people know about the resources if they're interested.
Okay. So will this grant money be available next year? Can we reapply? So it's, but it'd probably be more competitive next year because some people may have got their programs in place.
Well, I have to do the research. We have to get the data in order. There is a lot to the grant application, but because we were one of the first recipients, we do have better chance. There were more applicants this year, and the grant money was split up a little bit more, but we got that full amount again. So,
What was the original contract? Wasn't it 1 year, 2, was it 2 years?
Well, no, it was a year for the funding, but they were gonna fund, there was their funding of the position.
That's right.
So we'll be taking over more of paying for per position next year.
I think it was. I think it was 2 years, and then we would take over.
and this 100,000 from the Utah County Health Department grant is separate from the CTC grant. So this is something that we
okay.
went after on our own. So we get the county funding, that's, 2 or 5 year, but this is a yearly Utah County Health Department drug prevention grant, based on the taxes from tobacco sales.
Well done.
So,
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. With that, I ask if there's any other questions, not any other questions from the council, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion for adoption of Resolution 2021-44, authorizing the mayor to sign a grant agreement with Utah County regarding the Communities That Care Coalition, providing funding for programs to reduce substance abuse in the community and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Councilmember Bullock. And this will be a roll call vote, and we'll start out with Councilmember Williams. Yes. Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Now move on to 10D, consider for adoption resolutions 2021-045, authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with the American Fork Irrigation Company and Pleasant Grove Irrigation Company called the American Fork Water Weir Protection Agreement for installing watershed protection structures and allow Pleasant Grove City to serve as a sponsor for the project with the NRCS and providing for an effective date. Director.
Mayor, Council, this item before us is regarding an agreement due to us being the applicant, the original applicants for the mill ditch and the weir replacement with NRCS. We did an environmental assessment with them, and with that, they kind of just kept adding to it. They had additional funding, and so we added to that. We had mill ditch phase 1 and phase 2, and then we added to it the weir structure. Since we were the original applicant, when it was discussed about trying to get the 100-year-old weir replaced at the mouth of American Fork Canyon, they indicated that if another applicant was to come forth and actually apply for it, that they would require them to go back through the environmental assessment process and take all this additional time. And so in order to kind of short circuit all of that time, we have some direct interest in this weir. This is where our water from American Fork River that's delivered through Pleasant Grove Irrigation Company to Pleasant Grove City. It's a very important source for our system. So we feel like it's something in our best interest of getting this weir replaced, and it does help with flood control out of American Fork River, but it also helps with the proper diversion of our water so that we get what we're supposed to be getting per the decree. So this is an agreement that essentially says that we will act as a proxy for those irrigation companies on this project, and that they will be the ones responsible for the actual cost sharing, which it's a 75% grant, 25% match process. And so they're essentially, we will be responsible for paying it, but they'll be responsible for paying us. The three irrigation companies will be responsible for that. So that's what this agreement does.
Any other questions for the director? Thank you, Marty. And so I ask for a motion, if there's any questions from the council, resolution for 2021-045.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt that resolution 2021-045 as read by you.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bullock. And we'll start out with Councilmember, this will be a roll call vote with, starting with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. We'll now move to 10E, to consider for adoption resolution 2021-046, approving an extension to the 12-month time limit for final plat effectiveness found in Title 2, Chapter 7, Section 5 of the Pleasant Grove Municipal Code, providing for an effective date. And Director.
Yes, we've had a couple of instances recently where some of the projects that were approved as far back as October of 2019, and due to COVID hitting in the March timeframe, they've kind of postponed and kind of did not ever get started and didn't record their plat. Per the current ordinance, it requires you to have the plat moving forward within 12 months of approval. And so what this does is, if they can show to Director Cardenas that the proof of the cause of the delay must be provided to the Community Development Director to qualify for the extension. So they have to be able to show that there's evidence that there's a reason they were delayed due to COVID on their project. And if they can do that, then they get an automatic extension for up to a year beyond their original approval. So if they were approved in December of 2019, they didn't start, they would have up to December of 2021 to be able to start that, for example. So this is essentially just helping with some of those that weren't able to move forward due to COVID.
Any other questions for Marty? Not, thank you, Marty, and ask for a motion.
All right, Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2021-46, approving that extension as read by you.
We have a motion by Councilmember Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Jensen. And this will be a roll call vote again, with starting with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. We'll now move on to our next item, 10F, to consider for adoption resolution 2021-047, authorizing the mayor to sign a technical planning assessment cooperative agreement with Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, to update the Pleasant Grove City Transportation Master Plan and providing for an effective date. Director.
We applied for a grant through UDOT for some technical assistance. Essentially, it's for a new transportation master plan update. We've had this on our to-do list over the last few years. Anticipated cost is $80,000 to update that. We applied for a $60,000 grant and were awarded that grant to update our transportation master plan. This is the agreement of that technical assistance planning grant that they're awarding to us.
Any other questions for the director?
Nope.
Not, thank you, Marty, and we'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion of adoption of resolution 2021-47 as read by the mayor.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Williams. This will be a roll call vote again, and we'll start out with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
And Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Now move on to 10F. Oh, excuse me, we are done 10. 10G, to consider for adoption Resolution 2021-048, authorizing the Pleasant Grove City Engineer and Public Works Director to submit an application to the Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA grant to fund flood protection stormwater improvements to the flood channel that carries stormwater from Pleasant Grove to an outfall in the Utah Lake and providing an effective date. Director.
About a month ago or so, there was an opportunity that was announced through the government's Office of Planning and Budget of $50 million that was made available by the state legislature to go to cities and towns for needs and projects, mainly those projects that were funded through the ARA program, and this is the ARP, so it's the American Rescue Plan Act. And so essentially, we were looking at projects that we could submit potentially for funding on. You don't have to have a match, but having match funding is something that is ranked in your opportunity. And so if you just ask for 100%, you better have a really good project to get a high enough score that they would actually select your project. And so as we were looking through that, we felt that one of our big looming issues is this pipe to the lake that we call getting the water from I-15 all the way down to Utah Lake. And we've estimated that project to be anywhere between $4.5 and $5.5 million. We recently had an environmental assessment being done that was being done through NRCS, but due to timing as well as some issues with cost-benefit ratios, we've had to pull out of that EA process. But we are moving forward. We'd like to get this before the committee that's making selections on projects and see if this would be a successful project. We're asking for $2 million of that project, and then we would hopefully get moving on that sooner than later. And so that's what's before you, is that we can move forward and making an application for $2 million of grant funding for that pipe to the lake project.
Can I just add to that? We received, we will receive about $4.5 million of this ARPA money to Pleasant Grove, which is earmarked, I guess, for public works projects. There's a few other uses for it, but that's probably the main use for us. It is that money we would use as the matching funds towards these projects if we were to get the grant. So just want to let you know, we get half of it now. We have about 2.25 sitting in the bank, and then we'll get the other half in July of next year.
Any other questions for Marty?
That's great.
Amazing.
Not, I'd ask for a motion on resolution number 2021-048.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 21-048, authorizing the Pleasant Grove City Engineer and Public Works Director to submit application for Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 grant and to fund flood prevention stormwater improvements to the flood channel that carries stormwater from Pleasant Grove to outfall in Utah Lake and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Anderson. This will be a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. We'll now move on to our next item, 10H, consider for adoption resolution 2021-049, authorizing the Pleasant Grove City Engineer and the Public Works Director to submit applications for Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 ARPA grant to fund the development of a new culinary water well in the Grove area and providing for effective date. Director.
Mayor and council, as we were looking at this exact same funding for grant, we looked at opportunities. We currently have our, what we call the Boulevard Well and Generator project moving forward. We're getting close to being ready to drill that well. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be drilling that. We thought this would be a great opportunity for us to see if we could get some additional grant funding. That's very expensive, as you know. I think our bond that we just applied for with the Division of Drinking Water was $3.75 million for this work. And we felt that it would be a good time to go for some ARPA money and see if they would maybe fund $1 million of that. So we'll show a 75-25 split on that, where we pay 75, they pay 25, which would be about $1 million. Thought it would be a great opportunity to see if we can get our foot in the door on this project. So that's what this one is.
Great. Love these grants.
Any questions?
The night of grants.
Yes.
Good. If no questions, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for adoption of Resolution 2021-49 as read by you.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bullock. And this is a roll call vote. And we will start out with Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
And Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously, and we'll now move down to 10I, to consider for awarding All-Star Striping a 3-year striping pavement message contract bid and authorize the mayor to sign a notice of award and authorize the mayor to sign the notice to proceed in agreement upon receipt of the final approval and the final contract documents. Director.
Mayor, we've found the need that we've had a difficult time over the years of getting striping done. And it's very difficult because of our procurement process, as well as if it's over $5,000 in striping, then we have to get 3 bids, and it just takes us a ton of time. We've finally have some great engineers that are able and capable of running these projects out and getting us bids back. And then so thanks goes to them for doing this, but we got a 3-year contract before you for striping services and messaging, pavement messaging. All-Star Striping was the successful bidder on this, and we're excited to have somebody we can just call up and say, go do this street, and work it out with them without having to go through a bidding process and take all that time and effort. So that's what this award is for.
Any other questions?
No, and I'd like to make a motion.
Well, we'll allow you to make that motion, Councilmember Anderson.
All right, I make a motion that we award All-Star Striping the 3-year striping pavement messages contract bid.
We have a motion by Councilmember Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lamone. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I don't know why, but that just brings me so much joy.
Can I just say one thing? Because it is a 3-year contract, we have unit prices for the work being performed, so there's not an actual amount that is being awarded here. It's the contract for the 3 years, essentially per the unit prices provided. So there's not a certain amount every year. We'll do what we need to have done during that year. We anticipate anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 in striping every year.
Wow.
It's probably a good amount that we would be doing.
Okay.
We love those bright lines.
I'll
Yep.
say. Looks
Okay.
good.
So excited.
Think about it. What?
We'll move to item 10J, consider for awarding Geneva Rock Products Incorporated the micro surface in 2021 project bid with the base bid plus alternate 1 and 2 in the amount of $884,502.08, authorizing the mayor to sign a notice of award and authorize the mayor to sign a notice to proceed and agreement upon receipt of final approval of the final contract documents. And Director.
Yes, wanted to get a project out here at the end of the year for some microsurfacing, but also had a need to do some mill and overlay. Center Street's getting pretty cracked up. There's quite a few cracks, and we fear that it's going to start falling apart. Pretty high influential road, and lots of traffic on that. So the plan is to come in and mill Center Street from First West to State Street. It'll jump over State Street and start on the other side, and we'll be doing the inside lane of Pleasant Grove Boulevard down to 13th West. Mill and pave that, and then a micro surface of that entire road all the way down to 550 South. We'll then be doing a number of other streets that need a surface treatment on them. As part of this, we got a great bid from Geneva Rock. We knew that they had some openings, and we're like, let's get this bid out. Let's see if we can get them. But there were 2 bidders, and there's really only 2 or 3 microsurfacing companies in this area that actually do work. But they came in with about $230,000 below, about 20% lower than the second bidder. So we feel grateful that we got a great bid on this, and we're excited to get this work done. This work is planned to be done before the end of October. To be able to get all of the microsurfacing done, you typically need non-freezing temperatures at night in order to do microsurface. So hopefully by another month and a half here, we'll have all this done.
Okay. Any questions? Be great to see some new asphalt down.
Love them.
It'll move. It'll be fast.
With that, I ask for a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that we award Geneva Rocks product the microsurfacing 2021 project bid, as read previously.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Anderson, a second by Councilmember Lamone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we are now down to 10K. Consider for approval, design, wording, and placement of the historical monument marker honoring the construction of the unique soft rock buildings in Pleasant Grove. Director Giles.
Not as tall as Marty. Mayor and Council, in May, Frank Mills contacted me wanting to install a monument regarding the soft rock structures built here in Pleasant Grove from our pits up on the east bench. This is part of our monument and marker policy, that the wording and the structure needs to come before you for adoption or for approval.
Hey, Deanna, do you want us to choose a site for it, or?
Yeah, would you please?
What's the marker? What does it look like?
So,
It's in your material.
is it in your packet?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be in your,
So
it's in
on
your
the very
packet.
last page of your packet,
It's off a soft rock, right?
it is out of soft rock. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. Yeah. What, sorry?
Where does he actually find the soft rock at this point?
They'd collected from various historic homes. One of the gentlemen had rebuilt an addition, or had built an addition on his home, and they used a lot of the rock from his home.
I'd imagine it's going to look really beautiful too when it's done.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That's cool.
Any other questions for Director Giles? Yes.
Mayor and Council, I just want to clarify, Director Giles mentioned this, that it is part of our policy to have you approve permanent markers and monuments in our parks. But just for clarification, this is our Pioneer Heritage Park, and this fits the policy because it does have to do with our pioneer history here in Pleasant Grove specifically, and is honoring that. So that's why it's being placed in the Pioneer Park.
So it's not like anyone can come forward with any idea for a monument and it will get approved.
And that's
Correct.
why I
Correct.
clarified.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
build it before, yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Tina.
thanks for
Because I
that.
had a few ideas. So.
Thanks for that clarification. Any other questions for the director?
You're going to have a ceremony or anything that you want
Not
to
that
be
I'm
part of?
aware of,
Oh, okay.
so.
Okay. We'll let you know when it's completely completed.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we'll do that. So with that, I ask for a motion.
Mayor, make a motion for approval on the design, wording, and placement of a historical monument marker honoring the construction of unique soft rock buildings in Pleasant Grove.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilmember Bullock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes our action items this evening, and we've got them all done by 7 o'clock. So it's, I'll just ask Marty, just from our work session, would you like to come forward? Council may have some questions for you here, so I know we're gonna meet with you later, but we need to do them. And so I'll answer the first, I'll ask the first one. Has the county got bids out yet? Or
Yeah,
First East?
they have not got them out. We received notice last Monday. I think there was an email regarding this.
Next year.
But this is our opportunity to hound you. Yeah. So give us some time. Go ahead, Mayor.
So that is what's happening is as they got their estimates together on the project, they did not have enough funding. By the time they would get the funding approved, then it would be too late to bid it this fall. So they're proposing to move forward with the funding in their next year's budget, which will be approved in October, and start this first in the spring. So the plans are done. The 100% plans are sitting on my desk. They could be bid fairly soon if they had the funds to be able to award it, which they don't feel like they have enough funding there to be able to award the bid.
Is there a prediction, 2023, 24?
No, is there a bet?
Oh, yeah.
Not predictions. I want to bet.
I mean, like, this is a safety issue for the residents. It's been like years. Can we front them the money, they pay us back, we get creative? Like, what can we do? Because this is a safety issue.
At this point in the year, if this was in July, I think we could do that. Sitting here in the middle of September, by the time we would have an agreement together to actually do the project, we're talking at least middle of October, which is not going to happen before we have snow and other problems. So,
But how do they
it's
not
just
have the funds if this was done like 2 years ago?
So if you're, well, I mean, this project came about because they wanted us, well, we asked them if the trees could be removed. They said, well, if you can get them removed because they're not on the historical tree list of the state, then we would be in agreement that would remove them and widen the road. Well, that happened, and I think there was a little bit of a waiver from the city's part of saying, hold on, no, let's leave them. Anyways, it ended up that they couldn't get it done that year with Kilgore, and then that pushed it, and they had a lot of issues finishing that project, so they couldn't have Kilgore do it. So at the time, they would have been fine, based on Kilgore's estimate to do the work. That pushed it too far where Kilgore had other deadlines to hit where they couldn't do the project, and then the county no longer wanted Kilgore to do the project.
Amen.
And they just barely finished Kilgore. In fact, I think in the last couple of weeks have finally finalized Kilgore with some record drawings. And anyways, so there's a long history there. I don't know exactly. The county didn't have enough funding is what I'm being told to be able to get what they plan to do done. And so now they've had to request more funding, and to do that, there's a process, and so they can't move forward with it, so.
And it is their road.
It is.
The problem is it's making it tough for us to finish our property
Yeah.
on the, east of the library. Everything just looks unfinished.
So if any of our
Because
county
it is
people are
unfinished.
watching virtually this evening, just, we're not happy with you.
Nope.
Anyway,
Amazing thing about this is we have county commissioners who live in Pleasant Grove. Yeah.
in fact, we didn't bring that up with our commissioner we had lunch with last week. We should have done that. We thought it was gonna happen. So, thanks, Marty. Is there anything else you'd like to ask Marty? Not on.
Our First West project with our pipe bursting is just finishing up, so hopefully you'll start seeing that clean up here in the next week. And we can have
Bursting, you mean upsizing?
upsizing the sewer main on First West between Second South and
Everyone's
Center
like,
Street.
"What? There's been a sewer burst?
Yeah, no, they upsized the line on First West, so.
There
that
was
one's-
some of that done before on First West, right? And is it just connecting into that, or?
Right, so we did it from Center Street north, and this is now finishing the last piece to get that upsize done per our master plan, so. I don't know why it wasn't done back then, but funding or something probably.
Okay, thanks, Marty. We appreciate you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's turn it over to our city administrator and go over our council meeting of September 21st.
Kathy, can you pull that up again? Kathy's the one that keeps the tickler file on that to help remind me. I do know for our work session, we are going to do a tribute to Mayor Ash, who passed away a week or two ago. We were thinking of doing that tonight, but with some circumstances, we decided we'd do that in a couple weeks. So the mayor and I will work on what that looks like, but we'd like to invite in their family and just give them a thank you for Mayor Ash's service to Pleasant Grove City. We're also fine-tuning the mission, vision, values. We're hoping to have that in 2 weeks. If for some reason, we're meeting on that next week, and if we don't quite get there, that one will be pushed back, but that's what our hope is. That was it for work session, I believe. We might throw Tamara Oborn in there as well. She wanted to do her presentation, so we'll do that in a work session. And then what do we have on the agenda? Okay. Just for the engineering services. Yeah.
Wait, what was the address, Kathy?
1800 North, First East.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
Yeah, they're gonna install a traffic signal there, and we need to acquire a little bit of property.
Great. Oh, that's very good.
Just on the budget amendment, one of the things that is going to be coming up is we have an opportunity to get a brush truck here at a pretty good deal. So Drew's been working on that. We have some money available from the work that they did on the fires last year in Oregon and California. We have some money left over from that to help go towards the brush truck. We still will need to put some general fund capital into it. But Drew and Denise have been working on that. They figured out a mechanism to do that. We wanted to let you know in case there's any concerns heading in that direction, because we need to tell the brush truck guy kind of where we're headed. We'll make it official here in a couple of weeks to officially allocate the funds unless the council has any issues with us pursuing the brush truck.
Good work.
Is there any concerns?
Good work. Nice work, Drew.
Hey, Chief, would you just come forward and tell us about your brush truck that you've
His potential brush truck.
essential that you've,
The potential essential brush
I
truck.
like when firemen can scheme things.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of what you try to,
All they do.
Well, especially when it can pay for itself.
Yeah, and so I like, this is something
That's
that will definitely, in the long run, the term, it'll definitely pay for itself as time goes on. But it's a demo truck they're building, and he brought it up to us, he showed us, and it's got a little lift on it, a little bit bigger tires on it. It made, looks like it's an off-road vehicle basically, but it'd be something that we can use twofold. I can use it as a backup actual rescue truck in the city when we're not using it on fires. If we need to, I can put extrication equipment on it. It's four-wheel drive, taller, so if it's a, bad winter day, we can use that instead of the engine backing up on certain things. So I think in the long run, it'll be really good for us, and as we get this new engine with this brush truck, it'll set us up to where we can actually maybe help out a little more on these fires that are going on. That's been really hard this year with our equipment and manning stuff like that, because I hate sending stuff out sometimes and not having that equipment in the city, for our citizens. So it's been really difficult this year. A lot of guys really want to get out. I had Zach Larson and Jack Pixler this last 2 weeks. They've been up in Idaho, North Idaho, on a fire with Weber County. They kind of hooked up together and up there, but Zach was able to get all his engine boss signed off, so he's now an engine boss. We'll have that extra qualification, so we'll be able to get, ship out or send out whenever we get enough guys ready to go. So it'll be good. It'll be one of those.
It's good experience, and it's a good revenue source for
Yeah,
the
and
city.
we can make that up. I mean, the truck itself is a little over 200,000, and I think with what we've made before and some of the extra stuff, it shouldn't be be a little hit, but I think we can make a lot of that up pretty easy next year and the year after. So I think it'll be a good thing for the guys and for the city.
Good to think forward like that. Fires aren't going away.
Thanks for your leadership, and, we love it when you guys come up with, look at all the alternatives here.
Yeah, well, thank you for your support.
Yeah, I figured that's why we didn't respond to him, because we just didn't have.
It's been really difficult this year, just with part-time guys, losing a lot of part-time guys and keeping our staffing and stuff, and then just with our equipment. But this next year, I think will be we'll be set pretty good, so it'll be nice.
That's great.
So, we're excited. So,
It looked beautiful in the station.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Did old Joe, are we done?
He's pretty much done. We gotta do a bunch of little things on it, you know, we want, Kyle Hardy's, brother-in-law, I think his brother, he's gonna do some gold leafing for us. There's a few things we need to do to tidy it up and make it look nice, but for the most part, it runs good. We got the clutch fixed and,
But it was a radiator coolant,
yeah,
wasn't that?
no,
what-
that always drips no matter what, just the way it gets the packing, that's the way.
Well, I
the
thought it was
pump is.
overheating, wasn't the, is that, that's why we couldn't use it in Strawberry Days, right? Was it because of overheating?
No, we weren't sure. It started to, but the biggest thing was, well, we just weren't sure how it was gonna run, first of all, because before the parade, we were just a little nervous. You know, one of those deals, like, we didn't want to get caught like halfway through around the rodeo. It was like, oh, great, you know, clung, have to tow it out. So we just weren't sure. We didn't get enough chance to run it enough before that happened. But after the parade, they had an issue where it was like a little C-clamp or something that came off the back of the transmission where the clutch goes in, basically. But we got that fixed. It's like a $10 part, so it wasn't a big deal. But it's ready. It runs great.
I don't know how the council feels, or Mayor, how you feel. I'd love to see it being driven around the city.
Yeah, we took it a couple weeks ago, just drove around. But yeah, what's our? Yeah, and that's our plan. That's totally fine. Yeah, I had somebody call me just this last week, and it's not Stonehenge, but it's one of these Stonegate down here in Provo, down by Will's Pit Stop. It's a friend of mine, but they do a classic car show every year down there for the patrons, you know, people that live there and stuff. And she asked if we could bring old Joe down there and set it down there for a day. So I'm working on trying to figure out, get that figured, see if we can get it down there and have them set it. But yeah,
let's
we
make it.
want to get that out, and the guys know that we can take it out and drive around the city, you know, around the block every once in a while, get it out. So yeah, it's ready to go. We've driven it, and so it's yeah. Like I said, there's a few little things we got to finish up on it, but it's ready to go.
Doug, you know, when you pass away, we'll give you a final ride around the city, innit?
That's what I'm looking for. There you
Okay,
go.
all right.
Maybe tomorrow, so you better get that thing
Oh, no,
working.
it's not gonna happen tomorrow. There's no way. No. Yeah, but we're excited. That's fun. So,
Not a possibility tomorrow.
yeah.
All right, I'll hang on for,
We'll put you on ice for a while.
I'll put,
Awesome.
Okay, thanks, chief. I didn't mean to blow that, but it's, hey, when you start talking about a brush truck, and I kind of get excited here, so. Anyway, anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, I'll start down here. Sid, do you have anything to share with the council tonight? Diana?
I do.
Eric.
Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Business on Main Street called 19 Main is going to be receiving, hopefully they're not listening, Business of the Month Award, Business and Excellence Award. So if you're available at 3 p.m., they do a tremendous job in the community and outreach. So if you're available at 3 p.m., come join us in that award to them. And then our golf tournament Friday, 7 a.m. We have a lot of great gifts and prizes to give away. So invite all of you to be there.
Actually, sorry, Mayor, I do have something that I wrote down. I think Todd was working with Dion on a 9/11 volunteer effort for that day. What's going on with that? Was the city kind of organizing something, or what
So we
happened?
put it out on.
it's done. Yeah,
Sorry.
Like the project's already been done?
No, the church, that stake rallied, and I think we have, how many projects do we have going on, Dion?
My state alone has 4.
Hold on, Dion, say that one more time. Yeah, it's very cool.
So if someone wants to be involved, how would they sign up, or,
So the stakes are organizing all of it, generally speaking.
okay,
If there's individuals that maybe aren't affiliated with the church, then the Just Serve website they're the ones that have been coordinating all of it. They're the ones that have been coordinating with us, so that we just provide the projects. They handle all the organization of it, which has been awesome. But I think almost every stake they wanted to make sure had a project, and I think that's been accomplished. Is that right, Dion?
Yeah.
So
As far as
throughout this week, there's gonna be projects going on all over the city in honor of 9/11? That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, and maybe Dion, maybe just give us half a dozen. I mean, I know I'm involved in the cemetery on Saturday.
Valley Vista Trails, painting, parking lot.
Yeah, so most of the projects, I mean, I believe we're walking and cleaning every trail that we have, that we're responsible for, including Grove Creek and Battle Creek. A lot of just general cleanup in the parks.
That's cool.
Tonight they're at Pioneer Park doing a big cleanup. And I believe they're at either City Hall or the library tonight painting curbs. Some tree ring stuff getting done.
Because I got a flyer from one stake, but I didn't know, so there's multiple going on in the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all, it's like, it's the 9 stakes.
Yeah, it's all 9 stakes.
4 projects.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Like there's a Google Doc, you go in and sign it. There's like, for one project, they need 80, for the next project, they need 30 people, and it's just.
Yeah,
A
the
lot of them
crazy
have-
thing
yeah.
was they asked us for projects between 10 and 20 people, and then everybody's like, hey, we got 80 people show up. Well, let's have you do this then too, So it's been really good. Last night they did a great job. They painted all the red curbs across the street on Pioneer Park, painted Chrisville Park gate and bike rack. Did the Battle Creek Trail cleanup, and gosh, what was it? There was another one.
That's
So
awesome.
we're
Okay.
averaging 4 a night, and I believe there's 4 or 5 on Saturday.
Okay.
So, this is a problem. Tamara's thing is on Friday night, correct? Which is also one of the nights for the service project. So
Yeah.
I'm sad that she left because I wanted her to know.
What's her thing? Just like a.
What is her thing, just an education?
Yeah.
Please tell me that's not Larry's thing.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Larry.
I thought she just said that her parenting classes were starting on Monday. I didn't hear anything about Friday.
Because I have
Do you have something down?
Let's just coordinate with
And then
them, see what-
another question, Scott, sorry, Mayor, I had this written down and I spaced it. Cleanup dates for fall, I know we were gonna do like a coupon, but is there gonna be, when is that coming out? Like, when can we kind of let residents know about?
Last week of September, I think generally speaking, is when we'll advertise that. They will be available for pickup at City Hall, at Community Development and Public Works. The dump pass will have an expiration. It'll be good from October 1st to October 31st, and that's just to control the use of those passes. So we'll advertise that on our social media and, our typical channels as far as pushing that information out. We'll also have it in our newsletter that goes out at the beginning of October.
So is that something Lisa could get posted like soon?
We want to wait till,
Well, just let them know that it's
so we're
coming.
printing up the cards and stuff right now.
Okay,
We don't have the actual passes ready to go. So when those are all done, which we're anticipating here in the next week or two, then we'll open that up to the public.
and then how do we control it so they don't print multiple coupons?
We can't control that. So these are specially made on cardstock. So if somebody wants to go buy the same color cardstock and figure out a way to match that, they can try that. But to just send it through a copy machine won't work because it will need to be on the cardstock. So
Okay.
there's not a way for us to really manage it. Part of that's the reason is why we're putting an expiration date on there.
Okay,
As people come in to pick them up, we'll give them one, but if they, come in the next week or whatever and pick up another one, most people are gonna comply. We might have a few take advantage of us, but
okay,
I think we're gonna be okay as far as that's concerned.
okay, awesome. And then I just asked my husband to stop by. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and hold up what you have right there in the back. This is a medal from Labor Day weekend for pickleball.
Ryan, come
This
on,
is-
Ryan.
Go ahead and just like release it from the, because this is the biggest one yet, and I just want to have him swing that by.
Aren't they just getting bigger and bigger?
Yeah, I mean, so this is Labor Day.
dragging Ryan into this?
Ryan.
So anyway, I want to thank Tyler, Dion. The lights were out of the pickleball courts for about 48 hours, and it was like a really serious matter. And so I appreciate you getting back on addiction. Thank you for getting them back online. I was able to practice before the tournament, hence the second place victory. We moved up a notch. It wasn't gold, it is silver, but we were 3.5 out of 11 teams. So again, thank you for your support. We're hoping again for this weekend, a tournament every weekend through November, so.
You don't have my support, by the way.
You've got mine,
Okay.
you've got mine.
Yes, thank you. Love you. Bye.
Gotta do the big belt buckles instead, so
That's actually a cool idea,
WW.
a WWF for pickleball.
Okay, anything else, Sid? Okay, we're glad we were able to return back down to you. Grant, have you got anything?
No, she took up all the time, so.
But thank you, Sid. Well, that concludes all of our business, but we do have a closed session this evening to discuss the purchase and exchange or lease of real property, and a closed meeting to discuss the pending or reasonable imminent litigation. Is that correct? Okay. And so with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Councilmember Bullock. Do I have a second?
Second?
We have a second by Councilmember Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, and let's take a
5 minutes.
break before we reconvene in our closed session. Thank all of you for attending this evening.